Oga, City Mall. And they wait, City Mall, City Mall, City Mall. City Mall, City Mall. Madam, City Mall, City Mall. A new adventure, Lola whispered to herself. It was a typical Tuesday evening in Lagos, Nigeria, and the bustling city was alive with honking cars, chattering pedestrians, and the ever-present scent of street food wafting through the air. Lola Adeyemi sat in her modest apartment, scrolling through her phone with a glass of red wine. Her eyes danced over pictures of smiling faces, vacation photos, and motivational quotes until they landed on a profile that piqued her interest. His name was Tayo, and he had a charming smile that could light up the darkest room. She clicked on his profile and saw he was an accountant at a reputable firm. Lola had always been cautious about online dating, but something about Tayo's profile intrigued her. He seemed genuine, with his post about family, career achievement, and witty observations about everyday life. They exchanged a few messages that night, and Lola laughed more than she had in weeks. Tayo's humor was infectious, and he seemed genuinely interested in getting to know her. They quickly moved from the dating app to exchanging phone numbers, and soon they were talking every night. "What do you do for fun?" Tayo asked during one of their late-night conversations. "I drive a taxi. That is what I do for a living," Lola replied, a playful smile on her lips. "Really? That's interesting. I've always thought of it as a tough job." "It is, but it has its perks. You get to meet different kinds of people and hear their stories," she said, carefully concealing the real story of her life. As the weeks passed, their connection grew stronger, and they decided to meet in person. The night before their first date, Lola sat in front of a mirror, contemplating her decision. Her heart told her that Tayo was different, but a small voice in her head reminded her of the countless times she had been disappointed. Lola dressed up and they met at a cozy cafe overlooking the ocean for their date night. The setting sun painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, creating a romantic backdrop for their first meeting. As Tayo approached, Lola felt a flutter of excitement mixed with nervousness. "You look more beautiful in person," Tayo said. "Thank you," Lola replied, feeling her cheeks warm at the compliment. They spent the evening talking and laughing, discovering shared interests and dreams. However, as the date progressed, Lola noticed a few things that made her pause. When the bill arrived, Tayo hesitated before suggesting they split it. "It's only fair, right? Equality and all," he said with a charming smile. Lola agreed, not wanting to make a fuss on their first date, but the incident lingered in her mind. A few days later, they both decided on Lola hosting a date in her apartment. Being led by Lola, Tayo toured Lola's simple apartment. He chanced on Lola's new Ankara pieces and shamelessly requested she give him a few pieces to sew shirts. Lola said, "They'll look good on you. I would have my designer sew them for you." When the shirts were ready, Tayo dragged his feet on payment. Lola took notice and quietly footed the bill. There came a time where Tayo was to host Lola. After they exchanged pleasantries, Tayo could not even offer food or drink to Lola. Meanwhile, Lola offered food and drinks and even honored his request of wanting her Ankara pieces. When he visited her, Lola took notice once again and kept quiet. Over the next few months, she observed other signs of his frugality. Tayo often complained about prices, avoided taking her to expensive places, and once even returned a birthday cake she had given him. saying it was too extravagant. Despite these signs, Lola was deeply in love. Tayo was intelligent and supportive in ways she hadn't experienced before. She believed his frugality was simply a product of his upbringing and chose to ignore it, focusing instead on the qualities she adored. One evening, as they strolled through a bustling market, Tayo brought up the topic of marriage. "I think we make a great team, Lola. What do you think about us getting married?" he said, looking into her eyes with genuine affection. Lola's heart skipped a beat. She had dreamt of this moment about months, and despite her reservations about his stinginess, she found herself nodding in agreement. "I think I'll like that very much," she replied, her voice filled with emotion. Lola and Tayo's wedding was a modest affair, attended by close friends and family. Despite her wealth, Lola opted for simplicity, aligning with Tayo's preference for a low-key celebration. The ceremony was beautiful, and as they exchanged vows, Lola felt a deep sense of commitment and love for the man standing beside her. After the wedding, they settled into a comfortable routine. Lola continued to maintain her facade of a taxi driver, both waking up early each morning and leaving the house for their various jobs. Lola leaves the house as a taxi driver, but changes to an appropriate dress when she gets to her various business ventures. She reveled in the freedom her secret afforded her, making business decisions and managing her empire without interference. Her best friend, Amaka, was the only one who knew the truth. "Are you sure you can keep this up, Lola?" Amaka asked one afternoon as they sat in Lola's plush office overlooking the city skyline. "For now, yes, it's working, isn't it?" Lola replied, a hint of pride in her voice. "But what if he finds out? You know how some men can be." Lola sighed. Knowing Amaka had a point, "I'll cross that bridge when I get there. For now, I just want to enjoy my marriage without complications." And so, Lola continued to juggle her dual life, thriving in her businesses while maintaining the facade of a humble taxi driver. She took pride in her independence and the fact that she had managed to keep her secret for so long. Years passed, and Lola's businesses flourished, and despite her success, she maintained her modest lifestyle at home, careful not to arouse Tayo's suspicions. However, everything changed one fatal afternoon after Tayo had argued about a total amount estimated to be spent on groceries before Lola left for shopping. Tayo's childhood friend, Chike, visited him. Chike had recently moved back to Lagos and was eager to reconnect with Tayo. He had no idea Tayo had married until they reconnected. "So how is marriage life treating you?" Chike asked. "It's great. Lola is amazing and the smartest woman I know. She just stepped out for groceries," Tayo replied with pride. "Good for you, bro." The two men sat in the living room reminiscing about their school days. As Chike was leaving, fortunately, Lola had just returned from shopping, so the two gentlemen walked to her by her taxi. Tayo introduced Lola and Chike to each other. They exchanged pleasantries and Chike left. A few moments later, Tayo's phone rang. It was Chike. "Bro, how did you catch this fish?" "You are such a lucky man," Chike said. "What do you mean?" Tayo asked. "I mean, Lola, everyone in town knows Lola is a business mogul. I mean, her name is everywhere." Tayo laughed, thinking it was a joke. "Lola is just a humble taxi driver. To be honest, the taxi you saw is hers." "You are joking, right?" Chike exclaimed. His expression on the phone remained serious. "What are you talking about?" Tayo asked, confusion creeping into his voice. They immediately scheduled a meeting at a nearby cafe for further talks. Chike pulled out his phone and showed Tayo a recent article featuring Lola as one of the top entrepreneurs in Nigeria. The article highlighted her various businesses and philanthropic efforts, painting a picture vastly different from the one Tayo knew. Tayo's world tilted on its axis. The woman he thought he knew was a stranger, living a life he was entirely unaware of. As Chike continued to share stories of Lola's success, a storm of emotions brewed within Tayo. Betrayal, anger, and disbelief. Chike managed to calm him down and they both departed. In truth, Lola owned a successful chain of beauty salons across the city, a thriving car dealership, and an upscale restaurant in the heart of Lagos. She had built her empire from scratch, but kept it hidden from Tayo. Her experiences in life had taught her that some men were intimidated by successful women, and she wanted to ensure Tayo liked her for who she was, not what she had. When Tayo returned home, his face was a mask of controlled fury. "We need to talk," Tayo said, his voice steady but laced with a cold edge that sent a shiver down Lola's spine. Her heart pounding as she braced herself for the conversation that was about to unfold. "Why didn't you tell me, Lola? Why did you lie to me about your true identity all these years?" Tayo's voice was a mix of hurt and accusation. Lola took a deep breath, trying to find the right words. "I didn't lie, Tayo. Why have you decided to make our life a living hell? You can afford a good life, but no. You have chosen not to by your frugality." Lola said, "I overlook all that not because I am a fool, but because I believe in giving people chances." She continued, "I cater for expenses you refuse to cater for, without holding back. Have you ever asked how I get it done? I wanted you to love me for who I am, not what I have. But you are making it difficult," she ended. "But why? Did you think I was some gold digger?" Tayo's eyes flashed with indignation. "No, it's not that," Lola replied, choosing her words carefully. "I've seen how some men react to successful women. I wanted us to have a genuine relationship without any preconceived notions. But you hiding your money stops me from revealing my true identity." Tayo shook his head. Disbelief etched on his face. "So, all this time, you've been playing me for a fool. You let me think you were just a taxi driver while you were out there building an empire." "I'm sorry, Tayo. I didn't mean to hurt you. I just didn't want to lose you." Her admission hung in the air, heavy with regret and sincerity. Tayo sat silently, processing the revelation that had shattered the foundation of their relationship. "Do you even trust me, Lola?" he asked, his voice tinged with vulnerability. Lola remained quiet. The next day, while Lola and Tayo continued to talk, her heart ached at the pain she saw in his eyes. "I do trust you. I just didn't know how to navigate this without losing you." Tayo stood for a while, the rift between them growing wider with each passing moment. "I need some time to think." Tayo's ego would not allow him to admit he has been ignoring financial responsibilities even when he could afford them. As he left the living room, Lola felt a crushing sense of loss. She had fought so hard to protect her relationship, only to find herself on the brink of losing it all. Days turned into weeks, and the atmosphere between Lola and Tayo remained tense. Tayo became distant, spending more time at work and with his friends. Lola, on the other hand, stepped out for the first time and started picking up passengers as a means of distraction. Aga, City Mall. Wait, City Mall, City Mall, City Mall. City Mall, City Mall. Madam, City Mall, City Mall. A new adventure, Lola whispered to herself because she was tired of apologizing to Tayo. One evening, as Tayo sat alone in the bar, nursing a drink, Chike joined him. "You okay, man?" Chike asked, sensing his friend's turmoil. "I don't know, Chike. I just don't know what to think anymore," Tayo replied. Chike leaned back, considering his words carefully. "Look, I know you are hurt, but you have to admit, Lola's done well for herself. She's not the kind of woman who'd throw her success in your face." Tayo nodded, acknowledging the truth in Chike's words. "I know. It's just, I feel like I've been living a lie." Chike paused, a thoughtful expression on his face. "You know, if you wanted to, you could turn the situation to your advantage."